Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I am here with Jared Yellin. We are talking about, we left right before the break talking about get those base hits. We're looking for those singles and doubles. They're the next unicorn. I love that analogy because, fundamentally, if the fundamentals of your business are not strong, if you're not profitable when it's small, you're definitely not going to be profitable by throwing oodles and oodles of money at it. So I really want to dive into this because several people reach out to me every single week who watch the show. And they're always saying things such as, hey, I've got a product, I've got a nice profit margin, I've grown it as much as I can, I don't know where to go next, or I don't have the money to get to where it's, I either lack the money or the knowledge to take it to the next level. And that's a very frequent thing that comes in my inbox. So talk to me a little bit about the companies that come to you, the tech companies that come to you. How have you learned to support that or brought together the resources to support and answer that question?
There's a critical first step. Here is the key. You need data to support your thesis. So where everything that exists today began is right here, Jeff, on a piece of paper, on a napkin. There is no company that bypassed that step. But when you're at that early stage, you need data to support your thesis. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go on Upwork and you're going to hire someone to create a clickable prototype of your vision. This is going to force you to refine it into an actual solution. It should cost you between $500 and $1,000. So if you believe in it enough, spend the $500 to $1,000 on Upwork and get a clickable prototype of your vision. From there, identify your ICP, your ideal customer profile. Who do you believe is going to pay for this solution? Once you identify your ideal customer profile, you need to do outbound effort to schedule sales meetings with this person. That you might say, what am I selling them? You're not selling them anything. You're going to do a sales demo of your clickable prototype with at least 100 qualified buyers. At least 100 qualified end users. At the end of the sales demo, you're not asking for their credit card. You're asking them to complete a very comprehensive survey that's going to give you data. And you don't want to skew the data. You want accurate data. It's better to find out then that you have a zero than to spend the next 6, 12, 18 months, 24 months and money to then find out you have a zero. Have people go through this survey. The two most important things that you're going to collect are, is this the right solution to the problem, and will you pay for it? This is step one before you pitch anyone for capital. You need data to support your thesis. This is called disciplined in early stage entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and like that, you're passing the credit card test in the beginning. Like this is a critical mistake that many entrepreneurs make. They think there's a problem. They develop a solution, but it's not a problem that people are willing to actually pull out their credit card for. Because what they've done is they haven't gone to what you said is qualified buyers, which I want you to dive into that a little bit deeper for our audiences. But they go to their friends and family, and of course, what did they say? Yes, this is a great idea. Of course I would pay for it. And then they develop the product, and when it comes time to collect, there's crickets. So I love that you passed the credit card test first with qualified buyers, but for our viewers and listeners who may be a little bit new to business, maybe they've never been in entrepreneurship, they've just got that idea on a napkin. What is a qualified buyer? How do they find that qualified buyer?
Yeah, so you got to get really deep into who did you build this solution for. So I'll give a really good example. One of our tech products that actually did not have an audience that was accessible, addressable, or was willing to pay for a solution was a platform for the dental profession. And what this platform did was it helped dentists reschedule missed appointments, because the number one expense in a dental practice is a missed appointment that doesn't get rescheduled. So we had this thesis, which was we can leverage AI, text outbound messaging to reschedule people that are canceling last minute and put them into the next slot, take people off a wait list and have them go into an open spot that just became available. But we wanted to see, would a dental office use a platform of this nature? Clickable prototype. The co-founder of this company with us went out and did 100 sales demos with various types of dental practices, multi-clinician, one clinician, where there's an office manager, where there's multiple offices, to try to define who is the ideal customer profile. As a result of that exercise, we had over 100 people go through the demo process, fill out the survey, and what we learned is they weren't going to use this solution in the form that it was currently built for the purpose of the prototype. Do you know how heroic that is that we learned it at that stage? Because what most entrepreneurs would do is they would spend the next 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, where half that time is trying to raise a few $100,000 from their friends and family. They finally get it. They hire a software development firm that doesn't share their values. They pour all the money into building a minimum viable product. They then launch it to crickets. It produces nothing. And they just ended up in, like I said before, the Bermuda Triangle of tech. And I don't want to see that happen for you. Have the discipline, get a prototype done, identify your ideal customer profile who's willing to pay for a solution like this, and get the solution in front of them so that you can collect data.
You know, I love that you brought that. That was an excellent example. It happens all the time. It doesn't even just happen in tech. It happens in every industry. Services, products, doesn't matter. And I want to ask you the next question, because this is something else that you said, and I don't want people to have missed it. You spend your initial investment. It comes from you. If you're not willing to invest in your idea to get that clickable, that 1,000, 5,000 clickable product in this example that Jared was talking about, then how can you expect investors to invest in you? Because as an investor myself, one of the first questions that I ask, whether it's real estate, whether it's business, whatever it looks like that somebody's looking for money, I always ask, how much of your own money have you put in? And so I wanted to also highlight that, because a lot of times people ask that question and they're like, well, I shouldn't have to put any money in, I'm doing the work. Well, but if you're not willing to put money into yourself, why do you expect other people to do that? And so can you kind of speak to the psychology of that? Because I know you've been through this. I know you were great at raising capital, and I know that you also self-capitalize a lot of the things that you do as well. So speak a little to that, and how do you overcome that hurdle? Because it's a mindset hurdle for a lot of people. It's not that they don't have the money, it's that they don't want to put their own money in because they're looking for their new product to generate money for them. And they haven't closed that gap. So can you kind of speak to that just a little bit?
Yeah, at the bare minimum, you need to validate your idea with your own capital, because no one's going to give you capital to validate a concept. So it's critical. And you don't need to put a lot of money in. You could actually put in significantly more time than money if money's short for you. But you're going to put in the $500, $1,000, $5,000 to get a clickable prototype. That's your capital. And it's important that it's your capital, because you need something to lose in this. You need to care enough about this that you have something to lose. Put your capital in so that you can collect enough data so that when you are sitting down with someone like Jen or myself or anyone else that invests in early stage tech companies or any company that you're going to launch, that you can show them, this is what people are saying they want. This is what we're going to build. This is how we're going to get to the market. These are the strategic relationships that we've already uncovered as a result of our prototyping process. So you're reducing risk, because that's the key. No investor wants to feel like they're bearing the majority of the risk. So if you have no economic skin in the game, you have no time skin in the game, you have no data, that means the investor's bearing 100% of the risk, and they're never going to write the check. And if they do write the check, that's the kind of money that's going to get you in trouble, because they don't even know what they're investing in the first place. You have to bear more risk than the investor, because you've already put in more effort and money and resources and blood and sweat and tears, so that you're going to them with a plan, a practical path forward to execute on whatever you've committed to doing.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask something, because I mean, we're both investors, we're both entrepreneurs, so we've sat on both sides of the equation probably multiple times in both cases. Yeah. and I think we're pretty aligned in this, but I just want to hear it and have you put this into perspective for people. And that's as an investor, the investor side of you. When somebody pitches you, what are the first, like, how important is that first hook? How important is the first, 10 seconds of what they say, or the first visual? Like, how important is that to you when somebody's sitting down to pitch you, that they catch your attention and that they immediately get into like what's in it for the investor versus telling a story?
Yeah, so I mean, it's everything, but I want to make sure that you hear what I'm about to say, because I've literally been on the receiving end of thousands of pitches just based on what we do. So it's not even so much what you're going to say in that first 10 seconds. It's the way that you're going to make me feel about what you're going to say. And what I'm looking for is someone with the deepest level of conviction that they believe they are uniquely qualified to solve this specific problem. It comes down to your self-confidence. And if I don't feel that transfer of energy in the first 10 seconds, you've lost my attention. But once I know that you have the energy and the conviction to execute, here's what's next. I want an extremely ambitious vision, a disruptive vision with a practical path to realize that vision. And this is why that prototyping step matters, because your ambitious vision should never be suppressed. The data that you collect from the prototyping exercise is the practical path to actualize the vision. And the more practical that you can help an investor see what you're committed to doing, and as disruptive as it will be, and the fact that you have the right energy and conviction, you dramatically increase the likelihood of getting a yes.
Absolutely. I couldn't concur more. I call it executive presence. If you don't walk in confidently, I'm watching. I watch before they even get on stage. How do you walk onto the stage in a pitch event, for example? I'm watching that. If you don't have that executive presence, if you're not carrying yourself with confidence and speaking with confidence and projecting with confidence, like, I don't even listen to the rest, because what I've learned in my investment journey is if the entrepreneur who is leading the ship operationally doesn't have the ability to inspire others with a vision backed by the plan and everything that you shared, then how are they going to lead this forward? And I'm immediately thinking, well, this is something, if it's IP, for example, this person can't lead this company. If it's awesome IP, I might still give it a shot, but it would have to have someone else at the helm, because if you lack that and you can't exude that, I agree, like, you've lost me completely. And that's what's required in business. We need somebody who's a strong leader and able to articulate clearly the vision and articulate the plan clearly and get buy-in from their teams and from everyone else involved. Are they doing that? And so thank you for that. We do have to take a brief break. We will be right back after these messages.